I pray I did everything I could to honor you. And when I open my eyes, there's joy each day. What a blessing, I'm waking up next to you. Your kisses are a sweet surprise. Still can't believe you're in my life. The impossible is possible because of you. I will love you past forever. I'll do anything for you. I will do anything for you. Heart and soul, I'll do it.
They the Roy's new podcast, who want to smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. From racial issues to fashion flies, the cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on our this the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of a mom, they the start of it all. You looking for a high learning, holla at your rub. The professor, nothing lesson, coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, I need it when it come down to it.
Is that a new, like a remix to the song?
Hey, you know I sound just like the song. Don't do me.
It was a different sound, a different. I mean, I'm just. Hey.
Yeah,
Welcome to the floor is yours. As you can tell, Flex, the producer, he has a singing ability that you guys just don't really know about. And but I tell you, he can go deep in the spiritual realm and sing a song. But R&B is where he really flow. But we ain't gonna get into that.
I was an R&B singer in my other life.
What you say?
I was an R&B singer in my other life.
Lord redeem him. But yeah, welcome to the floor is yours. We are back yet again to continue on with the hot topic. But the first thing we need you all to do is like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. We're already here on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Wherever there is an access, honey, we need you to find it and make a way. Get on here, say hey. And you know what we love for you all to do? We want you to interact with us. We want to have healthy dialogues. You know, we don't have to we can agree to disagree, but we can get something from you. So we are here tonight. I'm going to welcome my co-host. I call her Ivy. She my Ivy. Y'all call her Ivy. Do what y'all supposed to do, okay? The conscious creator, right? And then we've got Flex, the Rex, the producer. Flex the Rex, the producer. That's what I call him. And of course, it's me, your girl, IC, and we are here tonight to flow back into the power of a praying woman. And we're going to let Flex take us on in with a little bit of this recap from about 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, so if you follow us, we did that show, The Power of a Praying Woman. Mm-hmm. And what we didn't get to expound on is what that looks like, how to align that behavior with your prayers, right? You can't have you up here praying for good wealth and prosperity and, a successful relationship, but your behavior don't align with it. So we're going to talk about that right there. And one way to do it specifically is to breathe life into your mate through positive affirmations. So we talked about it a little bit. Again, we just didn't go into detail, but I want to start off with a story that I see you and I both are familiar with. We got a good friend who went through a divorce and he's dating somebody else finally now. And the one he's dating now, like she does that. She breathes life into him. She fixes his weekly meals. She does his meal preps, but she attaches to him this letter where she writes her own individual words of affirmation and encouragement for the week. And he talks about how that is totally different. He's something that he wasn't used to in his other relationship. And it encourages him to open up and encourages him to be vulnerable and transparent. And it just encourages him as he leave the house and go out and face this world. So we want to talk about that. You know, you could pray, but does your behavior align with the prayers that you're sending up for your mate?
Absolutely. So we have watched him come from the valley to the mountaintop. He had to climb to get there, but he got there. And so now, it's like when he have to, do things and go place. I'm always mailing, talking about you got to go get your sugar leveled out, because I call her sugar babies. That's sugar baby. And sugar, you've been doing good. He looked like his sugar ain't low. It just done balanced out. And I want to just say we thank you for being what he has needed you to be to him, and just to be able to see him come back to life, and from a place that was, really tough for him, but he made it out. So however he had to get to this place, we happy. But the notes are really beautiful. As you can see at the top, it says, say this in the mirror every day: I'm a good man, and I'm going to become an even better man. I never want to stop making memories with you. This is what she's telling him. I may not get all of it at the bottom because I can't really see it all, but it looks look for something. Okay, there we go. Thanks for X. Look for something positive in each day, even if some days you don't have to look a little, even if some days you have to look a little harder. And I can concur with what she did, because there was always a part of me, if it's the simplicity of anything that you can pour into your mate to help them get over something, to help them face something, but to give them that deposit within their mental mindset, their emotional heart, to help them, know that we see you, even if life has happened to you and what you may be, lacking, I should say, insufficient in. We want to make that deposit. So it is a good thing. However, I do know the opposite of that is when you're not getting it, how you can give. And if you're not getting it, it will take from you. But we're proud to share in his moment of being restored. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So that's where we want to start the conversation is, those affirmations they're not just formality, right? I believe in them. I know that they encourage, when you go through therapy, they tell you to find some way to redirect, your energy when you're going through negative things. So I'm gonna ask Ivory her thoughts on positive affirmations and how you think they can get you through tough times.
Affirmations is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I pour into myself every day because sometimes those are the only positive things that you will hear sometimes throughout the day.
Yeah.
How you speak to yourself is 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 the most important thing that you hear throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um, so those are very, very important things to just to get throughout the day,
Yeah.
and how you speak to yourself.
Yeah. And I like that you said speaking to yourself first, because you can't even begin to try to speak to someone else in a positive, sustainable way if you're not, if you're not full of yourself.
Right.
We hear people all day long at their low points. They can, muster up the strength to do and, to pour in. But I'm talking about when you're having to do it as a way where you sustain it over a period of time, like the longevity of a relationship. You do have to, Ivy, to your point, be able to speak it into yourself first.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. I see. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ivy.
No, go ahead.
What about I see?
Speak. Conversation. She speak, you speak, we, us.
Anyway, no, what she said is true. And so many times we don't get up and speak, to ourselves. I try to find music in the morning that is relatable to how I want my day to go, or something that even speaks to me. And so I do concur with what she said. Start with you first, because you can't give others what you don't possess within yourself. But I have learned that loving on me first makes it easier, to make things flow, because I've been so used to loving on other people that sometimes I have forgotten to speak to me first. And yeah, so I had to reverse that thing. Over here I got something to say. This is me, my life, my laughter, happy ever after. So I begin to have things even in my room that I have on the wall, that when I wake up it says you got this, or anything that meditates, be fearlessly, authentically you, or more music, more this, so I can get up in the morning, look to the right, and I have things that I can read and say, And the biggest one I have is sitting over on that table that says self-love is the best medicine.
And sometimes it sets the tone.
Yes.
Because if you're not in a good mindset, you know, you're going to project how you're feeling into someone else because you're not in a good place.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. You can. I think you can muster up the strength to fake it till you make it sometimes, but you got to deal with whatever it is that's draining you. So you're right. You have to be able to pour into yourself first. I like that verse that says there's power of life and death in the tongue. And unfortunately, some people use that power to tear people down. So I just love that this kind of sets the tone for the discussion to pour life into your mate through partly by positive affirmations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we got a comment right here. We want to I see you want to take this one before we move to the next.
Yeah. Hey, Mia.
Our faithful.
Yes, our faithful, for real, for real. She says, I like that. I see, because if you're making more withdrawals than deposits, then you'll end up in overdraft. It takes both deposits receiving and withdrawals giving to be balanced in a relationship. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's dope. I like her analogy, how she relates it to money. We all understand money, right? But you're right.
Cha-ching.
Ching ching. You're right though. The best love, the most mature love is reciprocated love.
Yeah.
I know sometimes we say people should love us unconditionally. I got an issue with that, right? Not that we can't carry the burden for a while, but I don't think that you should be constantly having to deposit while somebody else is withdrawing and they're not, vice versa. Love is to be reciprocated, and if it's not, hey, you got a decision to make, but have a discussion, of course. But yeah, it's not a good feeling if you're constantly pouring in and not getting poured into yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And she's continuing that she says going into overdraft without overdraft protection. Must be a finance major or something, right?
Some,
But
it's all adding up.
Yeah, it's adding up. Lack of encouragement or support can lead to total burnout and bankrupt. You're right. Man, you literally feel like you bankrupt. You have nothing to give, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's crazy about it is that some people want that for you. It's hard to imagine that the person that you're actually in a relationship want that for you. They want you burnt out. They don't want you to have anything to give to anybody else. And that's how they can triangulate you in a sense, just to control you. So it has.
Then when you go bankrupt, you got to be able to file a chapter 13 or 7, right?
Yeah.
So I got to get a clean slate to start over.
Yeah. So that kind of takes us to this next topic where we talk about are you praying a selfish prayer? So when a person is constantly withdrawing but not pouring into, it could be some selfishness there. So people can go to God. You hear the saying, hey, I don't want everybody praying for me, or get in the right mindset before you utter up a word to the Lord for me. For me, I don't believe that, bad prayers is going to reach the Lord, but that person's bad behavior can affect your environment. So let's talk about what a selfish prayer look like. I see you and I made some jokes. Like, Lord, this man you gave me, or this woman that
Lord, I don't even be saying man at this point. Lord, this Negro you gave me, I need you to whoop him in his sleep.
Yeah.
The word said that he supposed to be down here tending to me, but he always want to make up this one flesh prayer, like your body belong to mine. Lord, the Bible said, look, if you ain't even acting right towards me, Father, you said that you ain't even answering his prayers. So I don't feel like I should yield anything, Lord, until you handle it.
Yeah. That's it. That's selfishness. It is real, right? You're talking from a place of emotion. And let's be honest, sometimes it's not just sometimes that you're not getting the best of a person, you're actually getting the worst of them. So you have to have a mature mindset when you're going in there and not just praying for him. Like, man, you got to pray for yourself as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that selfish prayer, Ivory, you got something you want to add on that?
I mean, sometimes it's okay to have a selfish prayer every now and then.
I agree.
Because the Lord give grace. He'll give us grace.
Yes. Sometimes it's okay to have a selfish prayer every now and then, because, we're so much focused on everybody else. And sometimes we leave ourselves out of a prayer.
Yeah.
And we pray for everybody else and we forget ourselves. So sometimes it's okay to have a selfish prayer every now and then.
But a selfish prayer don't mean at the expense of somebody else, like you neglecting or harming other folks.
No. We don't. No, not for self gratification. No.
Yes. I like that.
Because at that point, I feel like I heard Tamla Man Truth is, I'm tired. And I just want to say, Lord, take him to the king. Not me, but take him. Because at this point, I'm tired.
Wait a minute. Take him to what, you want him to die?
No, not die, but just take him before the king. Not bury him in the ground, Lord, but take him before the throne and let him sit with you. Because I feel like he need to sit at your feet at this point.
I thought you were like, Lord, come get him or something.
No. Not Lord, don't bury him. But bring him up, Lord, because I think he need to sit face to face with you at this
That's
point.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, my pastor used to say, he don't pray bad himself. He just say, get him, Lord. And whatever the Lord want to do, that's what's going to happen. Get him, Lord.
Makes sense to me, Lord.
Oh, man.
Because I mean, I'm pretty sure my mate could been saying the same thing. Lord, I'm tired of her.
Yeah.
She ain't obeying. She's she trying to put her authority over me. And I'm like, what? That doesn't even make sense, sir. I'm trying to be a helpmate. Lord, that's what you told me to be.
So you can plug Tamala Man. So Tamala, if you're out there, you owe us, go ahead and write that check. When it gave you a plug. So let's talk about expectations. I think part of it too is when you pray, do you really expect for God to move on your behalf? I see you want to take that one.
Do I really expect for the Lord to move on my behalf?
Yeah.
If my prayer is from a pure place, yeah.
So when you approaching, you already know if it's from a pure place or not.
Yeah, because I'll be like, first of all, I'll be like, Lord, this how I'm really coming to you. You already know what I'm feeling in my heart and in my mind. So I mean, I can't get around this. So let me spill this ugliness first, this little tainted heart of mine. And then I'm gonna be back like, Lord, I know that ain't really how it's supposed to be. So this is what I want to yield to you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I be telling the truth on that part. I be telling how I be doing it. I ain't over here lying. It don't be nice sometimes to talk to the Lord. Lord, I'm sick of. Yeah. Lord, I love you. And I know that if I give this to you, that you can handle it. Mm-hmm. But however, I also know this. I can yield everything that I would desire. But my mate has to be the one that says, Lord, you know, I know she probably even been praying for me. This is probably how it could go because I don't know what they pray or what he prayed or has prayed. But just the fact of, you know, I want to do better. And then I believe heaven comes together. And he said, you know what, I can sprinkle on this because both of them are now yielding to me in this place, even though she's been speaking a thing. And it's probably been a little bit rebuttal. And yes, her heart may have been hardened somewhere, but there's a pureness there. But it also has to align that he's yielding or she's yielding, saying, hey, I'm going to surrender this thing to you because I do want to be better. So work on me. And I believe you'll touch both of us and we'll get to this place. But I do believe if I leave it with him, that he'll do what is necessary because I've left it with him. Now, if it ain't in his will, he'll say that too. You know, he'll show me something. But a lot of it is when we buck against him that he can't do it because we still in the way.
Yeah, it's just that bad attitude. Hey, cuz, Adriana, appreciate you tuning in. Everybody out there, keep the comments coming. We love the comments. That's what makes the show better. That way, y'all don't got to sit and listen to us the whole time. We want to read your comments, your concerns, and make sure that we address them too. So, but yeah, so the opposite of that selfish prayer is a prayer that honors God. And I think to know what that looks like, you got to know something about God, right? Mm-hmm. It ain't just that hey, God can make me rich or he can heal me or there's a lot to God when it comes to how to treat each other, right? So it's hard when the emotions are going, when the feelings are hurt, when you've been betrayed. How in the world can you be expected to give a prayer that honors God on behalf of your mate?
Oh, one, you got to put the emotions to a side. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do that, you know. So you may have to, you know, take a breather and then come back. But you got to put the emotions and not react off emotions. You have to put that to the side. Because it's hard.
Yeah. It is. You know, the thing about emotions too is sometimes we don't own them, right? Like anything, you know, you go to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, you got to say, hey, I'm such and such and I'm an alcoholic, right? That's first admitting that you have an issue. Mm-hmm. And same thing with emotions is admitting whatever that emotion is that you're feeling so you can begin to process it. You can't act like, hey, I ain't bothered and then go about business like it's going to go away. If I am bothered, own that emotion, whether I'm angry, whether I'm upset, whether I'm disappointed, own it so I can begin to process whatever that emotion is. Because acting like what I'm feeling is not really what I'm feeling, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. What you
Right.
think, I see?
Yeah, I agree. Because another song hit my head. Minute song, emotions make you cry sometime. You know, I can just tonight. I'm on one. I'm
Right.
over here having all these little flashbacks. But however, I've been the one if my emotions was in the way. But I haven't mumbled a word. I'm going to sleep, and I'm in my attitude.
Mhm.
And I think this is when we don't really own up to those times that we have not prayed. We always just want to give it like, yeah, I've got my emotions in check. But no, it's sometimes they be like, I ain't feeling him tonight, and I ain't feeling by talking to you, Lord. So tomorrow I'll get it together. And then, however, what began to be a little bit more prevalent for me is because time isn't always on our side.
Right.
I may not get this prayer for a shift. Something could happen. I could lose my spouse, could have lost him, and I didn't put forth the effort to bring the situation back to who it should have been left in his hands anyway, and just being selfish and in my emotions, as we say, and didn't say anything. And the times that I probably didn't put forth the effort in something, could have shifted. But here I was like, you know what, honey, I ain't saying nothing. And then sometimes you'll have that regret. And so, but at the end of the day, like you said, we do have to do emotional maturity. And sometimes it takes a little longer than others to get it and to get out of our own selfish way on how I want it to be and how I feel it should be at this moment, that my feelings matter more than his. It's not that. It's about collectively coming to be that delicate balance to one another in the areas that we need. And even if he's not meeting that need at that moment, it's still for me to be what I'm supposed to be. And that is his helpmate and his covering in a place that I need God to move on our behalf.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ivory, you want to take this one right here? Can you see that comment, Ivory?
Audrey Anderson said, God doesn't respond by our emotions. I learned that a long time ago. And that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's good that she said that. And I use an example with one of my daughters, because I've got two, so one won't think I'm putting her out there. When she would get into something emotional, she would always call me and she would cry. And I was like, I really want to say this to her, but I really don't want to make her feel a certain way. But I knew I had to teach her something. And I'm like, stop all that damn crying, because crying gonna make people think you irrational, you over the top. So to see that comment right there aligns me with what I was telling her. That ain't gonna get no response.
Right.
And not the one you looking for anyway. That ain't gonna get what you need. You got to find the right way to critical think this thing or to properly pray a thing to get the results. And because he sure ain't gonna respond to them emotions over there. Because I got tired, Lord. I just told him, wipe it. Because I'm tired of it.
And we should thank God that he don't respond to our emotional prayers. Because how many of us have made an emotionally charged decision and went back and regretted it later.
Right.
Yeah, we've done it with our children. Sometimes they'll get to crying and we give in to something too fast. When we should have come on, Holy Spirit, when we should have allowed them to learn the lesson in that moment. But instead we kind of interfere with it, and they don't went around the long way. When we just don't let them have a shortcut.
And my prayer is with my children, God, please let me take my emotions out of my motherhood, out of my parenting, because so they can learn the lesson. Like, please let me take my emotions out of it, because I'll give in. So they won't learn their lessons if my emotions are in it. My motherly emotions are in it.
Yeah. Because in other words, we don't want them to experience or by the experience. We want to make them avoid it by saying, now when I went that way, this what happened. And then of course, the 9 times out of 10 they go out and do it anyway. But,
so just to bring it all full circle too, before we move to the next topic, again, we're talking about breathing life into your mate as a woman, the part 2 of the power of a praying woman. So this part right here, I think it sets the tone, it sets the foundation. But how do you expect, and I'm asking for the woman's point of view now, how do you act or how do you respond when your mate doesn't respond in a way that you think he should? So now we're talking about the expectations still. He don't respond, you're praying, you're fasting, you're being more patient and more graceful, but he doesn't respond like you think he should. How do you continue to try to breathe life into your mate? You get hard, right?
It's hard. That's hard. it is hard. It depends. I'm gonna be honest. It depends on how long it's taking. I mean, we want to be patient, and but it depends on how long it's taken to me. Um, because we're praying, we're fasting, and we of course we want things to happen fast. We want
Yeah.
things to happen fast. And it depends on how far we in this rut. And if we're arguing, we're fussing, is this chaos in the relationship and in the marriage? It's hard. It's hard, especially if we're not communicating.
Right.
Go ahead,
Disrespect.
I'm gonna tap out. Go ahead, I see.
Let me tell you, because you know how I come, baby. For
I
me,
might be the wrong one.
I turned out. Look, this gonna be funny. I turned out just like this. See how that light went out, baby. That's how. And then I don't even think I got this bright no more. I think I had to find the right hue. Over here changing hues. I love how I got these good props. Yeah, I had to change the hue, but. And the only way I was like, how do I keep giving so much of me only to keep being depleted, to keep being let down? Then I learned that there's also obstacles too. I was in a blended family situation. First marriage, it kind of flowed, but I still had obstacles from the other part of that. Second one, same thing. It's always the second part. So you're fighting not only against what's going on with your husband, but some things that are attached to that. And so you steady keep trying to hold on, or you steady keep trying to put the prayer. And then there is a point in the time that you just like, you know what? I don't have anything else to give. And when we feel like we pull back, it makes the other person see, if I leave or disconnect, will you finally see, like, not that I'm trying to punish you, but I'm needing you to see my heart, not my body, not how fine I am. I just need you to see me, but I need you to see what I need from you, or what I desire. Let's say that, because I don't really need a lot. I desire some things from you that would allow us to cohesively be in a healthy relationship of balance. And I can't keep fighting against something that don't want to, just meet up. And sometimes it takes when you leave to see it. But then, of course, we can go back to repetitive ways to get you back into emotion that I think that to make you think that this is how it's going to be. And then once you feel like it's smooth again, they revert back. That's not good. It's a yo-yo, and it's an up and down situation that is not healthy for the other for your partner. It's just not.
Yeah, that's real. You had something, Ivy, you about to say?
Yeah, and it depends on also if the man really truly wants it, because I'm not gonna sit here and put my all into something that he truly does not want. So you have to be honest. Like, are we gonna work on it? Are we gonna truly work on it and move forward? Or is this something that you don't want to work on, and let me know so I can go?
And just to add some context to that, does he want it in a healthy way? Because some of them want you to stay there, but be in that unhealthy space. So, man, that manipulation is an all-time high out there. You got to be careful about that.
And I love what you said, Ivy. I also know from that perspective of being strong enough to say, I realize and I see it. I'm trying to hold on because I love you. But along the way, I am on life support. And you are not willing to give the necessary precautions to help me live again. Because there's a part of me that needs that. And I have to be strong enough as a woman to say, I love you enough to know that you will never be everything that I need you to be for me. And that's the truth. Because if I need you to support me in an area that you kind of give me rebuttal all the time, whether that's religious views or whatever, these things will cause you. And at the point, you got to know to just say, it's not that I don't even love you, but I love us enough to know that we don't have longevity together. And we can possibly be friends, but even if we don't, I don't have any ill will towards you. But I know for me to continue to be able to be.
Is she freezing?
Yeah, she freezes.
Oh man, she was in that bag.
Yeah.
At the hey,
he didn't cut it off. He didn't cut it off.
It wasn't me. I'm gonna remove and let her get back in. Oh, here she go.
Man, I heard y'all saying I was in the vein.
It was good.
You was in the vein, man.
Yeah, I can hear y'all, but y'all couldn't hear me.
Oh.
Yeah, you
What
had
did you get
froze up.
last?
You could
Um,
leave. You were responsible enough to leave.
Yeah, so in other words, I
Mhm.
don't hate you because of this. We only love to the capacity that we were willing to meet each other. And even though we didn't, make it forever, whatever it was out of, and I'm speaking of me, whatever I needed to get me to the better me, and for you to be whatever you needed to be once we left one another or we decided to exit, at least we left whole. I mean, left better. I don't know whatever that better it may be for you, but it was truly about if I had to walk this journey now without that partner, at least I had enough in me now moving forward that when God reconnected me with who I was going to be with moving forward, that I had learned something in that particular relationship or marriage that would teach me to look at things differently, to fight a little bit harder in the spiritual realm rather than in my flesh. Because my flesh at times took over because I'm dealing with something that I've never had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And so when I had to grow in that place and growing in it now, I see it differently moving forward in a relationship, to already know how to stand in that place of covering and fighting for what in the spirit realm, so that all of these little foxes don't come in and tear up what is a beautiful garden. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that
Yeah.
again, girl. It's all right.
Yeah. All right. Just I want to touch again on that expectation piece. I think you got to temper sometimes to a point. Your expectations need to be, I'm gonna use the word fair. And sometimes our expectations is based off of our experiences, our fears. Only what we know. And sometimes you get into that space where your expectations drive your behavior. You can become manipulative. You can do stuff for the sole purpose of changing his behavior to fit how you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, hate to say it this way, but it's the truth. In the Bible, they talk about it as sorcery and witchcraft when you begin to manipulate situations to change people. And you're not doing it in the truth and in the way that's what we would consider to be truly loving. The Bible says that love does not demand its way. And, that's one that I think that's a pillar, one of the stronger pillars of love. If you got to demand behavior, and I'm talking about whether it's good or bad behavior, whatever is subjective, however you look at it. If you got to demand it, I mean, you got to really look at what you're in and determine, is this something that's for you?
I don't want
it. Right. Yeah. If I got to demand it, I don't care if it's my misunderstanding or her misunderstanding. If you got to demand it, it's not true love, because true love flows freely, right? Yeah. So
that comment section is hot over there.
Oh yeah. Cuz said, well, I refuse to stay any place when it is unhealthy, and that's why any attachment in life, attachment in life, because that can cause so many problems within you and a lot of other people, not just marriage. Right?
I'm talking about friendship too, Ms. Audrey, baby. Them, I done evaluated them sisterhoods, whatever you want to call it. If it's unhealthy,
all the shits.
Yeah. He said it ain't love if you gotta demand it. You gotta, you can try to dissect it and say the why behind it, but it don't matter. If you gotta demand it, it ain't love.
Right.
It ain't love. Yeah. And Triple OG Run said, pass the collection plate. I see dropping them gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, thank you, Audrey. Audrey was what it was it? It's a comment a little bit lower. No, it's
that's it.
No, she was saying, Amisha Thomas, girl, you speaking real wisdom tonight. As always, I love to hear your dissect life for us women. Honey, I have gained this knowledge through growing through it, but being honest enough to speak on it now, because I do remember there was a time that I wouldn't, and that's because I was still entertaining my situation after 3 years being divorced. Nobody knew that, but I was, and finally having to just say, hey, this is what it ain't. And I ain't mad, but I'm better. And I'm going to get better. So, yeah. So, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, babe.
Yeah. So, how about we go to a commercial break? I see.
Come on.
And we'll come back and continue this discussion.
Take us to the commercial.
Your success ain't gonna breathe. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You gotta be willing to go out and get it. You gotta dive in it, go and get it. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah.
Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. You got to be willing to dive in it to go get it. Oh, I love that. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
If you need a haircut, you need a t-shirt, you need eyeglasses, eyebrows, arts. Hit my boy.
Beard oil.
Huh?
Beard oil.
Beard
Maybe I can get
oil.
something to make my
Yeah,
beard.
some of y'all probably
Yeah.
got that rough around your face. You're trying to get it like that Indian, that you really got deep in your bloodline, bloodline. Get over there, get with Miracle, and let him take care of it. He's over in the colony here in the DFW area. Check it out.
Yeah, hey, and shout out to Miracle too. He just had a birthday. I think it was Sunday.
Yes.
I think Miracle turned 41 or 42. So happy birthday to the homie. Our official barber for the Floor Is Yours podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's go. Got a couple more comments we'll hit before we move on. Adriana, she said, well, you have always kept 100 with me through the years. Yeah.
Flowers, I give out flowers. Here go y'all flowers, baby. Mia.
Oh yeah.
Mia. Ronnie, I don't got no coins, but flowers.
You say you give flowers too. So let's go ahead and we're gonna wrap this discussion up. This part of it. We got another special part of the show we want to get to, but before that, we're gonna let IC drop her love note. To talk about this last part where we talked about pouring life into your mate, the power of a praying woman.
Yeah. So what once again, it's always me. I go to me because that's the only way I can reach the people when you come for me. I've watched me over the years go back and look at lives that I've done in my car or just anything that I've gotten on, and I could see the power of the anointing that I possess in the arena of prayer. And I watched how I could tear down hell. I watched how I could war against assignments of the enemy. But I also watched how I lacked it in my marriage because of how I felt, what I wasn't getting and all that. So I learned from that. I learned moving forward that the same power that I possessed for everybody else, I definitely have it to fight for who I'm connected to do life with here on earth. So moving forward, I will say this to anybody: yield your emotions to the Lord, set them aside, and find that strength to open up your mouth and command heaven to come down and hell to shut up. Heaven to come down and hell to shut up. Because I know that you told me that if I speak a thing and it's according to your will, it will line up. So how dare me not do it for the man that I'm going to walk purpose with? Or I'm just talking about the man. But if you got a woman that you with and you know that there's purpose that is aligned with that thing, I, beseech you to go down in there and say, Lord, I'm going to take myself out of this thing, even though I'm not feeling like I should be feeling because I don't feel like I'm getting what I'm needing at this moment. But I know if I yield it all to you, that you will shift the thing and rearrange it and it will line up and we can walk collectively in delicate balance and walk this thing out so that we are proper examples of what you resting on this relationship looks like. That we also get to talk about how it was to get to this point, but we do it collectively. But I'll never again do a selfish prayer that's just going to always allow it to be more so that it aligns up to how I need to feel in this thing, because I have to realize that there's just some part of my man that might not be there yet. But I need to know that if I know he goes out into deep waters and I can't get to him, there is a spirit that I can, my mouth can open up and there's some words that I can speak. The Lord, the Holy Spirit will go get it and bring them back in to know that I'm waiting on the shore with open arms and a heart that is yielded to know that I'm here to be what I'm supposed to be. And that's to help my man in whatever area he needs me to help him in. And that the Lord gonna help me do that because I'm yielding it all to him and I know what he's designed me to be and to be. And at the end of it, I'll say this: take away the old patterns that you have been taught or you've been groomed in with your mama, your aunt and them and all them, because they teach us to go some wrong ratchet ways at times, and take away all of those generational strongholds that are attached to relationships that you have seen in the past and ask the Lord to give you how he would line it up. Not all of this, the toxicity and the dysfunction that I've seen. I don't need that. So I detach myself from that thing. So my prayers on tonight that whatever area you need God to touch you to be in your relationship, male or female, to your husband or to your wife, or the partnership, or you're moving forward to get to covenant, that you would yield that all to him. And whatever you need him to work in with you, first of all, that he would touch and work on you first, that you come from a pure heart moving forward in this thing, and that it would just be a beautiful love story, that even though it's going to be some bumps in the road, that you all are going to walk hand in hand, and y'all going to get to the end of this thing, and destiny will be fulfilled through the covenant of marriage, relationship, and being together. And that's all IC has to say on tonight. Okay. All right.
Hey, if there's a spoken word, we'll be snapping our fingers after that. It's always good. Always good. Ivy, you want to do some parting thoughts on this part of the discussion?
Just put your emotions to the side and communicate with each other. That's the best thing to do. Put your emotions to the side and communicate.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the emotions, man, I'm telling you, they get the best of you. And you always, well, I should say always. Some people don't regret their bad decisions, but you should. You should. And mine is just quick. I just want to talk about, when we go to Proverbs 31, we're talking about the behavior of the woman for her to be a virtuous woman. But there's a couple verses in there that talks about the mate that she's with. And I'm looking at Proverbs 31:23. It says, her husband is respected at the gate where he takes his seat amongst the elders of the land. So how your husband is respected is also a reflection of you. And we know the old saying is, you're a sum of the company that you keep. So it's not all your fault, but you got to really be conscious about that when you're picking a mate. A lot of times, we're the story that women think that she can love a man, that love the hell out of a man. And, it sounds good. And, the power of God is true. But my thing is, he has to want it. And if you don't want it, man, you're going to end up loving the hell into you too. So
I need you to rewind it and say it again.
Man, I can't hit it like I did the first time. With that dance move you do the
you
first
said
time.
You love the hell out of them, and then but you said you can
love the hell into you.
You dropped the gym like real serious.
You did.
Like for real, Flex, like for real. No shade, no shade. Like that was good.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can hit it.
I need you to write that down on that notepad next to you, because you're gonna have to keep that. You got to keep that nugget.
Well, let me try it again.
Okay.
When you're trying to love the hell out of him, you can end up loving the hell into you. So be careful about who you choose as a mate.
I really need this to be a strong drink, but it's Coke and it'll work.
Acid. So cool. All right, I see you want to take us to this next segment.
I do. Let me wait a minute. I got to get over here with my little clip notes. I don't want to back in. Huh?
I say get on over there then.
Yeah, I'm over here and one needed some Coca-Cola. Okay. So now we are going to get into, we know October is the month of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're going to take a moment to celebrate those who have been affected, those in any area, and even those that we may have lost along the journey in the fight. And of course, I can relate to this, but also we know someone who has been affected by it, and it is our very own Ivy. And I didn't know that before the show, so there's another flower there for her, because I have a heartstring for people that, endure. And so Ivy, some of them that follow you may know, and some of them, us, we didn't know, but we're going to give you the time, the floor is yours, to be able to tell us the journey of how you got to where you are now.
Thank you. First of all, like I was talking to Flex earlier, thank you for letting me share my story on this platform. Before he asked me to share my story, I was like, yeah, I share my story. Of course. And I've shared my story before. I've done several walks and shared my story, done several events and shared my story. But today I was thinking, and I was like, Ivory, have you actually shared your story? And I haven't. So when I did those walks and those events, the difference was I encouraged women and told them continue the fight, and I was their sister in pink, and don't give up, and this is what, you know, being a survivor looks like, because I didn't want to get anyone down, but I wanted to encourage them. But it wasn't my time for my story, so I didn't want to take that away. But I wanted to come on this platform to be transparent as possible, because my story isn't really all that good. And someone may be going through the same thing. So I wanted to come on here to share my story. Um, I got diagnosed when I was 33 years old, and I was diagnosed with stage 2B breast cancer, and never had a family history of it. Um, Never seen anyone go through it or anything. My sister had a couple of months prior, she felt the lump, went to the doctor, but everything was good. So she was okay. Um, I was in the shower months later, and just in the shower, washing up underneath my underarm, never done a breast exam before ever in my life. I just came on down for some reason and felt the lump. And I was like, wow, okay. So I'm off on Mondays. I said, I'll just go to the doctor and see, just to confirm it. I'm off anyway, but it's probably nothing because my sister felt a lump and it was nothing. So went to the doctor on Monday. They confirmed it. It was a lump. So then I had to go um, to another doctor. So got there, and my mom called. She's like, "You want me to go to the doctor with you?" No, I'm okay. My sister was fine. I'm fine too. You know, again, women, we want to do it by ourselves. We got it. We got it. So I go to the doctor by myself, and she asked me, how long have you had it? I don't know. Just found it. So she says, "Have you ever had any bleeding coming from your nipple?" No, never had any bleeding coming from my nipple. She says, "Oh, that's fine, because if you had bleeding coming from your nipple, then that's a sign." No, fine. So she did an ultrasound. She seen that it was a lump. She said, "It's fine. Do you want to remove it?" Well, I said, "Well, yeah. Since I know it's a lump there, let's go ahead and get it removed, because I know it's a lump there." So she said, "Okay, well, let me find out, exactly where, so we can just get everything, the surgery." So when I went to go to remove the gown, full of blood, just that fast. The gown had full of blood on it that fast. So she just told me, now she just looked at it, it was fine. She just told me the sign that if I had blood, that was a sign. So now she says, "Well, this changes everything." So now I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. So that day I had a biopsy. Now I'm still by myself. So that day I had a biopsy. When I left there, now the doctors usually, okay, when the biopsy comes back, we'll call you. That day I left there, I had a whole tote full of breast cancer stuff. Now the doctor usually don't do that unless they know. That day I had a whole tote. Now I go to by myself. So when I left out the hospital, the doctor, I sat in my car as I'm by myself, just cried, just overwhelmed, just cried. So I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I had 3 children. They were all young. What am I going to do? So I go home. Mind you, my dad is sick at the time. He's sick. So I go home. And I call my mom to let her know that I got breast cancer, but I didn't get the biopsy back. So we're gonna pray. I'm like, "Mom, I got all these pamphlets. I left with a bag full of stuff." So my dad is sick. The next day, my dad has to go to the hospital. He goes into a coma. So I'm not. So now I'm not dealing with me. It's not even about me anymore. It's about my dad. So I didn't even have time to even process anything. Now I'm worried about my dad. So my dad was in his coma for like 4 or 5 days. So I'm still not processing. I sit my kids down and let them know that I got cancer because now the results has come back. I have it. So when it was scheduled for my surgery, the day my mom is like, I'm like, my mom, you don't have to decide, like, stay at the hospital with him. I'm okay. So my sister comes in to be with me. The day before my surgery, my dad wakes up. So my mom got to be with me. So I still not dealing with me though. I'm still not dealing with me because I'm worried about him. I go through chemo, I go through radiation, but my hair is coming out. But I don't want to deal with my cancer. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want my kids to know that I'm sick. So a close friend of mine always says, do not go out the house if you look sick and you're not feeling up to par. Don't go out the house. So I kept that in my mind. Like, I can't let anybody know that I'm sick. So I stayed in the house on the days that I was sick. And when I felt good and I wanted to smile, I came out and let people see me. I wasn't dealing with my cancer. I wasn't dealing with it. My doctor wanted me to go to groups. And I was like, I don't want to talk about cancer all the time. I don't. So when I went for my chemo, like each time I had chemo, I had to be hospitalized. I had to get blood transfusion. It was like the worst time for me. It was the worst. I lost all my hair, but what I did was I kept the wig on so I wouldn't see it. When I went to chemo treatments, I would go in there like I was the doctor, like I wasn't there for chemo. So my now is like I'm advocating for females like deal with it. It's so important to deal with it. It's so important, like, and my treatment was good because of the early detection. So I'm 11 years cancer free because of the early detection, because I found it early. I had to get a lumpectomy. I had to get reconstruction and put my breast reconstructed. But early detection was the key, but I didn't deal with it. So that's why, I help females like deal with it. Deal with your cancer. Deal with it, because I did it. I did not accept it at all. I had a pill to take. I would not take it. I didn't take the pill. Um, because I did not accept it at all. Men, you touch your women, you can feel the lumps. You can do the breath exams on your females, on your women, on your spouse. You can do it because sometimes they're not doing it, so you can do it.
Yeah.
Um, and educate your daughters on it. Educate your daughters on doing self examinations too. They're not too young, so teach your daughters how to do it. It's very important. It's very important. And I was talking to Flex earlier. I wanted both of my breasts removed, but it wasn't. They didn't give me that option. And so, well, they told me that I had to get diagnosed again for me to get my breast removed, because it is to go get to your mammogram each month, when I say it's anxiety for me, still to this day, it's anxiety for me.
Wow.
So, but I mean, now I can, that's why I'm so passionate now about, educating women and talking to women now, because I did not deal with it. And I came out with a smile, and I hit it on the that mask, I hit it on the inside.
Wow, wow. So when you say, well, first, man, big shout out or whatever. I don't even know what to say to a survivor. I've known people that have passed away from different cancers, and they talk about how aggressive breast cancer is, but from a man's standpoint, we don't understand. I'm hoping you can give some understanding into this. When it happens in an area like a breast, in an era where you are judged and your womanhood and your feminism is based off sometimes your breast, right? How do you deal with that piece of it? Or have you had to, as far as a
It's
relationship or society?
so with me, it is very embarrassing. Like, and I mean, I'm transparent. So if I had a whole chunk, like when I got my lumpectomy, I had a whole chunk removed from my breast. So I didn't. It made me very self conscious. I didn't want. I didn't feel like I didn't want to like take my shirt off. Um, just even like to even take my shirt. I didn't want to. So it's very self conscious, and even for like females to that get their breasts removed, and have to get implants. It's very very self conscious. It is. Um, it is. It is.
Mm,
Well,
mm,
we thank God.
Even
We thank God for your life,
yeah.
um, and for you getting to the place where you could share your story. Because there's so many other women out there that I'm sure have felt just like you, ashamed to talk about it or didn't have the strength to talk about it. I've seen sisters, dear friends, go through this, make it out, and still, have to fight the journey. But I've seen other forms of cancer take, some very dear women, radiant flowers of mine away. And so to be able to at least hear your story so that you could help the next person and know that this is passionate for you, I say thank you for being able to do it on a platform that many can see and know that they're not alone in this, and that they can find the strength too to keep pushing forward. Um, Definitely going to cover Audrey. She had to get off of the live of doing this subject because I do believe that she lost her mother to cancer, and it probably brung up, not as probably, it brung up that emotion, um, because that's mom, and mom is not here. So we definitely cover you tonight, and that God would tend to you, and just know that we love you. Okay. And to anybody else that may be on here that has a family member, or if you lost someone to breast cancer, any form of cancer, and you're struggling, or you may watch this and it bring up that emotion, we ask that the Holy Spirit would tend to you on tonight, and just to know that you're not alone, because you have survivors such as Ivy that is here to be a warrior with you. So, yeah, we leave y'all with that tonight.
yeah,
Thank you again, Ivy.
You're welcome.
absolutely. Mia said, "Thank you for sharing your story." She said she just turned 40 in September. We'll be scheduling my mammo soon, so I'm
Please.
sure you're an advocate of like their regular scheduling, right?
Yes, yes, please, and stay on it. And your body, like, um, your body. If something is not right, and the doctor is saying everything is fine, stay on them. You know your body. You know your body.
Yeah, yeah. I see you want to take this one.
Yeah, she said, warrior indeed. I have a friend going through it right now and is on her last round of chemo prayerfully, and another sister who is a survivor. We are all in this same age range. My God, today. Yeah, and I just did a mud run the 21st of October, and it was for, October and for cancer and breast cancer. But you said something that was prevalent, that when you would be at the walk, you didn't, let anybody know that you were just an encourager. at this particular thing, and we had all these different obstacles. There was a woman there was actually you knew that she had cancer, and to see her try with her to make sure that she made it through every obstacle and to make it to the finish line, even though she was, you can tell she wasn't maybe as strong as she was supposed to be. But that at that end of the finish line, I was able to just go up and I just want to hug you because you made it through. To watch her be, going through this fight and to actually be out on this obstacle course. And so it taught me a lot that even though these women were going through it, they had obstacles that they're actually facing. And here we were doing this obstacle run with them. And my mind was trying to defeat me not to get down there and do the bear crawl in the mud. But I learned that this is what the devil does. But if you all are strong enough to fight these obstacles, chemo and all these different things that you have to face to endure this process to either kill the cancer, fight through it and everything, then we should be able to keep moving strong enough. And I will say this because the Holy Spirit led me to Heather. I commend you, Heather, for being the greatest support system that a friend could ever want. I've been in your position as a friend or sister to have to journey with a sister that is going through it. And even though this is, I mean, I'm not making it about you, but I want you to publicly know that I acknowledge what I see in you as a friend, as a sister. If I cry, I'm sorry. But to see friends stand with their friends and their sisters and to help them even with their children, because it's hard for them, but you take on that role and that responsibility to step in and be that strength. And I know it's hard to watch you all go through the chemo and the wear and tear that it does on your body. And I've experienced that, but I commend you. And if you have been the one to be a support to anybody and you going through it yourself, I commend you. It takes a lot of strength to even face your own struggles and to still be there for somebody else. So even the people that take care of these people and even have to tend to other people while you're going through, you deserve to say, well done. And you are truly warriors, and to just continue to be strengthened. But I had to say that to you because I see it. And I just feel like people that take care of people and endure the process, they need to be acknowledged and they have to be loved on as well, because it's something that you never want to face, but you have to do this process and see them change and transform before your eyes, and to still keep a smile on your face when you have to cry behind closed doors because you do see what they're going through. So flowers tonight for every survivor, every fighter, for those that have lost someone, and for all of you all that are taking care and doing your part to help people survive and to keep fighting. So I love you all on tonight. I keep it real, so this is just who I am, and I'll continue to be that on any platform that I am put on. So I love y'all.
Yeah. And just real quick, for me, I know there's a lot going on social media that shows this divide between Black men and Black women. And what I do know from my experience, that it's not as big of a divide as social media would let us or lead us to think it is. But for those where the divide is real, I just want to encourage you and remind you that you just never know what a person is going through, what they've been through, what they're experiencing. And just listen to Ivory's story. Just remember that it makes me wonder, like, do you not understand that the person that you're hurting is human, that they have feelings and fears and whatever. And I know that people can lash out, and I'm not making excuses for people, but what I've experienced to know that we can create more peace by loving people than by matching a negative energy. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to the men in the community now and letting you know, like, it starts with us. I remember that the Facebook post about places that women ain't going on their first date and whatnot. I get it. Got it. It don't feel good to feel like that nothing you can do as a man is good enough. But somehow, some way, I encourage people to be that diplomat in these relationships and learn how to slowly tear down those walls. It takes two, and you got to really use a level of discernment to know when it's appropriate or when you need to back away. But my Black women, I love y'all. Yeah. I love y'all. I love y'all. And there is nothing that will make me turn my back on y'all. Ivory, thank you for sharing your story. I see. Thank you for your encouragement. Heather, we talked about your story. I know Poonie Ross is a blessed woman to have you supporting her, and all the cancer survivors out there.
Mm-hmm.
Pay it forward when you can, but also what Ivory talked about earlier, make sure that you process it as well. I can't imagine living with the fear of wondering if it's going to return, so get your mammogram checks. One of the big hurdles is insurance. You go to the polls, support those people that want you to have insurance. That's a life issue. So thank you. Appreciate everybody. And I'm going to let Ivory a final word on this before IC closes out.
Just like Flex said, early detection is the key. And just like IC said, the support system. I had a wonderful support system, and they're like the unsung heroes out here. So support system is wonderful. Y'all get your mammograms. And men can get it too. So
Yeah.
they're not left behind. So y'all definitely get checked out. Make sure you get checked out.
Amen. I see. You want to close us out?
Well, as always, we thank you all for joining in with us on tonight. We dropped gems. We also had sympathy and empathy and compassion that we exude on the show, as well as lend a prayer. So as always, like, share, and subscribe. Somebody will need this message or the messages or the gems that were dropped tonight. So make sure you do your part in sharing it so that it reaches those people and that they can send it and share it to someone else. Always come back and just join us, because we love being able to dialogue with you all. You are family, and we're glad to have you. So yeah, that's all I got to say. It has been a good night for me. And I'm gonna rest tonight because I done poured out, and it's a good thing to pour out, but it's a good thing to see that God still does everything in His time. And so I love you all, and we thank you all for tuning in.
And just real quick before we drop this outro, Mia says, so grateful to this day for all the friends and family who stood by me while caring for her late husband. He was 24 when he was diagnosed and went through treatment. At 29, when he's suffering, was no more. So
Wow.
That support system, I mean, you can't say enough about it. Oh man, it's hard to assemble it when you're going through it. So just,
And to be such a young man, and to be a widow at such a young age for her.
Yeah, that's a lot to carry, right?
It is.
So hey, how about we drop this out?
Well, drop it.
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard and the podcast crew. From TJ the realist, Miss Cookie the professor, and you can't forget about the inspiration shit. They talk about it all, got advice for us all. You'll never know how deep the talks will go. On the weekdays, the weekends, they be going live with the topics. Then they do the segment where the floor is yours. You can post your comments, you can post your statements, yeah. You can ask your questions, They can help you get your life moving in the right direction. If you need advice on marriage, advice on finance, advice on healing, advice on credit, this the podcast that you need to check out. Go ahead and tune in, you'll feel what I'm talking about. Baby, I'ma get up for this Baby, come down to the floor is yours. Let me show you how the floor is yours. The floor is yours. Na 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 na. The floor is yours. Na 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 na. The floor is yours.
Let me find out you was over there with that Bring It Back Beyonce. Bring it back, girl. Bring it back, girl. Baby, you was,
It goes way back. That was that old Shaggy. Y'all remember?
what did he say then?
That was murder, bro.
Oh, okay, murder.
Back in the 90s at Fort Hood. Yeah.
Okay, I got a little rhythm. Let me find out.
All right. Peace, y'all. Appreciate you.
Love y'all.